Well, all right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Hot Seat Automotive Podcast. It is your buddy CJ here. And tonight, we're talking about all things automotive industry, the car guy hobby, cars. This is the place to be for that real gearhead talk. Welcome, everybody. If you're new around here, we talk about cars, people. We talk about muscle cars and sports cars and exotic cars, automotive events, what's going on in the industry. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, all the fun we've been having on the channel since we started. Check me out on Instagram, Hot Seat Gearheads. Listen, the dialogue continues. Guys, tonight I got kind of a fun special episode. I want to talk about the top selling sports cars of 2024, according to Road and Track. Going to take a look at the article that was recently released by Road and Track, some of the metrics they put together, the top selling sports car by units, okay? By volume of units, cars, sold in the United States, North America, United States. Let's take a look at it together. I'm going to tell you guys what I think, what the numbers mean. I'm going to kind of give you my opinion on some of these cars and tell you what I think's going on and some of the rationale behind the numbers. Listen, what's most important, I think, is for you to leave me those comments. Let me know what you think. Did I get something wrong? Do you disagree with your buddy CJ? That's okay. You could disagree, but you got to let me know in the comments what I got wrong. Guys, we have fun around here. Let's get right into it. The top selling sports cars of 2024, according to Road and Track. You know, before I pull up the article and we look at it, a couple things I do want to mention. The world has changed. Friends, gearheads, motorheads, car guys, automotive enthusiasts, the world has changed. We are living in the era of the SUV. Accept it. And it's a hard pill to swallow as a car guy, right? Because perhaps we hearken back to another era when the streets were ruled by muscle cars and sports cars. The reality is there's still a lot of those cars on the road. And I'm so grateful that we as gearheads here in 2025 have access to so many incredible cars. But make no mistake, the world has shifted around us, folks. Consumer appetite has pivoted. The automotive buyer in 2024 was very different than the automotive buyer in 1994 and 1984, 1974. There's been significant evolution, okay, in consumer appetite for sports cars. The sports car is becoming somewhat of a super niche, a niche within a niche, okay? As the rise of the SUV has taken over, okay? For a while there, we had minivans everywhere. Now we've got SUVs everywhere, right? And I want to set some context. Toyota RAV4s in 2024. Toyota sold about 400,000. Hello? 400,000 RAV4s in 2024. Ford Explorer, about 200,000 Ford Explorers in 2024. Okay? Probably 250, 300,000 Toyota Camrys were sold in 2024. So if I were to tell you and give you the context of those numbers to set perhaps a line in the sand of what's really selling well, okay? What if I told you the top selling sports car in North America, before I tell you what it is, what if I told you it sold about 44,000 units? 40,000, 44,000 units. 400,000 RAV4s sold in 2024, kind of a big deal. A couple 100,000 Ford Explorers sold in 2024. That's a lot of Ford Explorers. Top selling sports car, about 40,000 units in North America. You get the drift? So while it's fascinating for us to sit here and talk about sports cars, and we as car guys, we love cheering on our brand, right? Who's carrying the banner for Detroit, right? You a Camaro guy, Corvette guy, Mopar guy. You into German cars, Porsches, Japanese cars. They're all on the list. I'm going to get to that. We got something for everybody. We'll get to it in a moment. But context is everything. Sales numbers are down and trending downward for the sports car category. So again, I've said this before on the channel. Let's rejoice, gearheads. Let's rejoice. that we have access to all these incredible cars in 2025 on the new market and the used market. There's something for everybody. Okay? It's all out there and available to us. However, let's also be mindful of the sea change that has occurred over the years and the decades where, the era of the sports car is a thing of the past. And it really is just a micro segment of the automotive industry. But rejoice. Let's get into it. Let's look at this Road and Track article. Anytime I look at these Road and Track articles or Motor Trend articles, now on the web as opposed to the old days with the magazines, it does remind me of growing up as a car guy. And what was a big part of our hobby was buying the magazines. Whoa, I'm dangerous with my mic tonight, guys. Sorry. Buying these magazines at the newsstand or at the convenience store as a kid growing up in the 80s, for example. And we'd buy Motor Trend, we'd buy Road and Track, we'd buy Hot Rod magazine, we'd buy Super Mopar magazine, whatever it was, right? And we'd look at the cars and we'd pick our favorite brands and our favorite cars, and we'd compare them and we'd talk about them and we'd argue about them, and we've have a lot of fun just, getting any bit of research and analysis and good information and photos about our favorite cars. We didn't have the internet. We had these awesome magazines, these colorful magazines, and every month new issues came out. And whether you had a subscription mailed to your house, most of us didn't, you might go to the local newsstand and pick them up. So when I come on here with these podcast episodes and review these articles with you guys, it just takes me back to a different era. Some of you know what I'm talking about. And I just have so much fun discussing it with you and interacting with you on it. Road and Track, the best-selling sports cars of 2024. What I want to tell you is, Road and Track does say that their information is probably imperfect because not every manufacturer is fully transparent and granular in their financial statements and the information they release in terms of how many units of specific models they actually sell. So there's that. But based on the information available to Road and Track, this is the list they combined and the list they compiled. What I will tell you is I'm going to start at the top of the list. I'm going to give you number one first, and we're going to burn through it together. Let's get right to it. Number one is the Ford Mustang. Is anybody surprised? The number one selling sports car in North America in 2024 was the Ford Mustang. No surprise there. Listen, the pony car, the American hero, the Ford Mustang since 1964. Are you kidding me? V8 power, performance, 2 doors. You do have 4 seats, all the fun you could want to have at a price point relative to the market where you're getting a lot of performance and a lot of fun and a lot of cool styling without spending that super premium. Now, again, listen, for a fully goosed out Ford Mustang, you're looking at 40s, 50s. You could spend 60 grand on a new Mustang if you wanted to, maybe more. So this is not an economy car. This is not a super inexpensive car, but it is the American hero for the sports car banner and the sports car category in the United States. There's nothing more American than a Ford Mustang, right? The original pony car. And it's also the survivor, guys. Let's be real. Camaro, gone. Dodge Challenger, gone. Ford Mustang's still here and going pretty strong. Now, the Ford Mach-E this past year actually outsold the Mustang. And that's not a knock on the Mustang, right? What that tells us, it just kind of reiterates the point I started with at the beginning of this episode, which is that the world has shifted. The world has shifted away from sports cars. Appetites, consumer demand has changed, right? And we are firmly in the era of the SUV. Make no mistake. So Ford Mustang, listen, no surprise here. It's number one. It is the survivor. And what's perhaps most interesting and telling in this Road and Track article is that numbers are down significantly. They sold almost 49,000 units in 2023 in North America. They're down to 44,000 folks. 44,000 units. So that's a significant drop off, okay? For an already shrinking market. It's shrunk. So Ford Mustang carrying the banner for Detroit, for American sports cars and pony cars. Number one on the list of top selling sports cars in North America for 2024. No surprise, right? Number two, Chevrolet Corvette. Look, I say the Mustang is the survivor because the Camaro's gone and the Challenger's gone. Now, having said that, the Corvette is different to me. It's in a different subcategory of sports car. Mustang, more of pony car, borderline muscle car. Let me know what you think in the comments. Given how heavy they are and that big V8 putting out big numbers, right? The Mustang is a big sports car, right? It just feels bigger and chunkier. That's me as a car guy telling you that, having driven all these cars. The Corvette is more what I would call classic sports car. Hear me out. 2 seats, seating for 2, V8 rear-wheel drive. Now, the Mustang has a bit more practicality with those 4 seats, and it's at a lower price point. I think it's crystal clear why the Mustang is outselling and outpacing the Corvette. It's at a better price point. It's got more utility, something you could drive every day with some practicality versus a 2-seat Corvette, not as much practicality. Even with decent storage space, with that frunk in the C8 and the rear trunk, not bad. Not bad storage space, but you're not putting a baby seat in your C8 Corvette. You're not going to fit another human being in the back of your Corvette. There is no back seat. Okay? Now, aggressive styling, all those things. If I had 60 grand to spend on a sports car that I was buying for sports car purposes, and it came down to a new Mustang or a used Corvette, Corvette all day. For me, let me know what you think. Because with the Corvette, I think you're getting a true sports car experience. Mustang, you're getting more pony car leaning towards muscle car. That's my opinion. I want to know what you guys think. And by the way, in general, I do not classify Mustangs as muscle cars. Okay? You could argue there's a few exceptions. Dodge Challenger, Dodge Charger, clearly muscle cars. Okay? A big AMG V8 sedan is a muscle car, a luxury muscle car to me. Ford Mustang, a pony car. Is it a sports car? According to this list, it is. Listen, Corvette going strong at about 33,000. Significant drop-off, though, from that Mustang, which was at, 44,000? So it's not really close. Listen, these are not huge numbers. Again, let's level set and keep in mind, 200,000 Ford Explorers were sold last year. 400,000 Toyota RAV4s. So 30,000 Corvettes, 40,000 Mustangs. It's, these aren't massive numbers. This is a niche category, but fascinating to look at the difference. Big price step up for a Corvette. To get into a new Corvette, well-optioned Stingray, you're at $70K. Come on. Yeah, well, if the starting price may be lower, but you're not going to find one fully stripped down. You probably don't want it. You want a Z51. You want the options. Maybe you want the front axle lift. You want the heated seats and the blah, blah, blah. You don't want the $60,000 Corvette, partner. If you do, if that's your budget, my suggestion to you would be to get one 2 or 3, 4 years old. This is a good time to buy. You get a lot of Corvette for 60 grand. But I would not buy a new Corvette for 60, 65 grand because you're not going to get the options you want. Trust me. Trust your buddy CJ. Come on, cuz. I'll never steer you wrong. You want the Z51. You want the sport exhaust. To me, it would be like buying a Mustang without the GT package. I need the GT package. Why would I buy a Mustang without that V8? Same thing applies here with the C8 Corvette Stingray. Get the options that are going to make you happy, make you love the car, sport exhaust and otherwise. Step up to a Z06 or maybe as an extremely constrained ZR1, big bucks. You're looking at 6-figure cars approaching 200K, 160, 170. It's a lot of money. But anyway, Chevrolet Corvette, second place. Third place, we drop off a lot in numbers, but boy, oh boy, what a great car. The number 3 selling sports car in the United States for 2024 was the Porsche 911. And this is fascinating to me for a couple of reasons, and I will tell you why. Okay, Porsche had its biggest year for 911s ever at a little over 14,000 units. They're going up from almost 12,000 units last year. So whereas Mustang is down, Corvette is down, Porsche 911 is up. The demand is there. What's interesting about that is this is a super premium product. The Porsche 911 is not in the same category. I don't care, Mustang guys and Corvette guys, if you don't want to hear that. I own a Mustang and a Corvette right now. So I am not biased to the Porsche 911. I don't have a Porsche 911 right now. I almost bought one a couple of weeks ago, but that's another story. Porsche 911 is in another category, another level. It is a super premium product, okay? And you're going to pay for it. You're not touching a new 911 under $100,000. Yeah, good luck. You're looking at more 120, 130,000. And if you want a GTS or a turbo, you're looking at a $200,000 car very quickly in that era, in that realm. And then if you want a special Porsche 911, you're talking 220, 250K, GT3, GT3 RS, and beyond. Okay? So the fact that they're in third place speaks volumes about the 911 brand and its significance to automotive enthusiasts. Within this niche, even at a super premium price, the 911 is right up their top three, although it does represent a significant drop-off from the Mustang and the Corvette. Of course it would. Listen, let's be blunt. There's not as many people with that kind of coin to drop on a sports car. Real talk. I'm going to be blunt. Okay? You got to have bank to step on a Porsche dealership lot and buy a brand new 911 at MSRP. It's a lot of money. But these are great cars, incredible machines. What can you say about a Porsche 911? Not surprising to see it. You can argue, just as we said, the Mustang, is it really a pony car? Or is it really a sports car? I think the Corvette is clearly a sports car. The Porsche 911, many people will argue, has gotten so big, dimension-wise, and bloated, that it's more of a grand tourer than a sports car. Now, part of me doesn't care. To me, it's just such a fantastic car to drive on every level. I did drive a Targa recently, a 992.1 Targa, 2024. And with a base drivetrain, it wasn't very sporty for me. I'm used to driving fairly powerful cars and fast cars. And the base drivetrain on a 911, while it's plenty, okay, it doesn't punch you in the face the way that even an S or a GTS or a turbo will. That's just my impression. If I was buying a 911, I need a little more. But they're still incredible cars. Listen, for driving on the road, a base Carrera or a Targa without the upgraded drivetrain, they're still fantastic cars. But you're going to pay for it. You're going to pay big bucks for it. Let's keep going. Guys, the number 4 selling sports car in North America in 2024 was the Toyota GR86. They sold about 11,400 units in 2024, up slightly from 2023. I don't get this car. Honestly, I don't see the appeal. Okay? This car for me is more of an economy car posing as a sports car. And if you're a fan of this car, I mean you no offense. Don't take any. But the car just doesn't have the edge or the appeal for me. Now, I know people, listen, you're a fan of this car. If you got one, tell me what you love about it. It doesn't have the grunt, the looks, the power that some of these other cars have. Listen, if I was buying a new sports car or a sports car, would I go with a Toyota GR86, or might I look at something even in the used market that's at a similar price point to a new GR86 to get something a bit more edgy? I don't know, guys. You tell me. It's personal preference and taste. But when I look at, for example, a Corvette or a Mustang, there's some edge to that. The Porsche has an elegance to it. What does the GR86 have? It's small. I'm sure it's a blast to drive. But for me, I don't get it. Guys, tell me what I'm missing. Maybe you say, CJ, you got to go drive one. Maybe you say, CJ, the car is just not for you. And I get it. I'm more of a big power, high output car guy for the most part than the micro, small, economy focused sports car at this point. I'm just being really blunt and honest with you. But you guys tell me what you think. Do you have one of these? I'd love to hear about your experience. Look, the number 5 top selling sports car in North America in 2024, according to Road and Track, was the Mazda Miata. This one makes a lot of sense. It actually shocks me, though, that this car was beat out by the Toyota GR86. Like, I don't see it. I think if I was in the market, I'd go with the Miata. The fun factor with the Miata is there. I mean, I remember when these Miatas first came out. What was that? 88, 89, 90? Don't hold me to that. Got to look it up. But I was in high school at that time. I remember when the Miatas came out. The Roadster was back in the United States, right? The cool convertible. It didn't have to have big power. You had that convertible. You had the fun factor. You look at the car. The car just looks fun. It's fun on wheels. Seating for 2. I get this car, right? It harkens back to another era of the lightweight, tossable, fun, 2-seater, open top, right? I totally get it. I'm really surprised that the GR86 kind of beat the pants off of the Miata in terms of sales. They shifted about 8,100 units this year. Again, the numbers are down off 2023. They sold almost 9,000 Miatas in North America last year, 2023, and about 8,000 this year. So you do the math. We talked about it. Shrinking segment. And of course, each car, with the exception of the Porsche 911 so far, is indeed contracting. But what can you say? The other cool thing about the Miata is on the secondary market and the used market, you can have just about any generation Miata you want. Loads of fun. I'm a big fan of these cars. The one problem with the Miata for your buddy CJ, I don't think I could fit in one. You know, what am I, about 6'2"? And the car's just not really designed for me. But if I could fit in one, I'd go out and buy a Miata. How do you like that? Guys, we're having fun tonight. Leave me those comments. Let me know what you think. Come on, let's keep going. Number 6. All right. The number 6 top-selling car in the sports car category for 2024 in the United States was the Chevrolet Camaro. Now, hold up. Wait a minute. They ended production of the Camaro in 2023. But there was still some leftovers. They were sitting on the lots. They were in inventory in 2024. Did you know that General Motors sold almost 6,000 Camaros in 2024? Guys, I said it before. In terms of the pony car category, that was all started with the Ford Mustang and, of course, the Camaro. And ultimately, we did have the Challenger, that muscle car that kind of competed heads up with these two for years in the modern era. The survivor is the Mustang. And, we got to shed a tear. I did a whole episode on this, that the Camaro's not with us any longer, that V8 rear-wheel drive heads-up competitor with the Mustang. For years, your buddy CJ was a Camaro guy. I've had a bunch of Camaros. I grew up as a Camaro guy. I would have never wanted to own a Mustang. I think I've actually owned more Mustangs than Camaros, which is kind of funny, having grown up as a Camaro guy. I love them both. But look, is the Camaro coming back? The Camaro's the comeback kid. Can we all agree that the Camaro is the comeback kid? Do not count out the Chevy Camaro. Will it make a comeback? If it does, I hope it's not an EV. I hope it's not an SUV. I'd love to see another V8 rear-wheel drive performance car come out from Chevrolet, another Camaro. Will it happen? I don't know. But kind of interesting, and I think it's very telling that a discontinued car, Chevrolet Camaro, discontinued in 2023, is the top 6 selling sports car in North America for 2024. So anyway, Chevrolet Camaro, number 6. What do you guys think? Porsche 9... I'm sorry. Guys, go easy on me. the Porsche Cayman and Boxster, also known affectionately as a category as the Porsche 718. Guys, let me tell you something. These sales numbers are also up, similar to the 911. 2023 sales, 4,500 units. 2024 sales, go Porsche, 5,700 units almost. You know, I think this car would be higher if you didn't have to pay such a premium for it, right? I mean, a lot of the guys who would want this car brand new are going to be enticed by some of the, dare I say, value-added options on this list. Candidly, real talk. And in the used market, you know, you pay a premium for a new Porsche 718. And listen, you can get a lot of horsepower and performance on the used market, either with a used Porsche or with, you know, a nice used Corvette, all right, or a Mustang or a Miata or an M3 or something like that. So a fantastic car. It's approaching the end of the production run. What are we going to have? An EV, Cayman, and Boxster? Gosh, guys, let's hope, and I've talked a lot about this, my prediction is we are going to see a resurgence in the internal combustion engine like never before. It's coming back. The extent of which, not sure, for the Porsche 718 or the Cayman or the Boxster. We'll see. We'll see how good an EV Porsche Cayman and Boxster do, or a hybrid. I don't know. You're going to pay a lot for it. And the guys who want these cars, Porsche, if you're listening, other manufacturers, your buddy CJ has set you straight. The guys who want these cars, if you're going to stay in this segment, do not want an EV. Real talk. We don't want an EV sports car. Who wants an EV sports car? Leave me comments. It could be a niche within a niche within a niche. Okay? But you're not going to sell a lot of them, right? Automotive enthusiasts in general do not want EVs. Real talk. Why is that so hard for the big manufacturers to understand? We don't want them. If we want them, it's a small subset, a segment within a niche of the automotive enthusiast hobby, which is a small population in the grand scheme of things, that would want an EV. And an EV sports car? Nah. We want our internal combustion engines. And I think, you know, there'll continue to be a reckoning on this. But number 7 on the list, the Porsche 718. Another car I do not understand. Guys, help me understand this. The number 8 top-selling sports car in North America, 2024, the Subaru BRZ. Just like the Toyota GR86, which is based on the same platform, I don't get this car. I don't see the cool factor. I know a guy who has one of these, and he loves it, and he's a driver, and he does road trips, and he does mountain roads, and he digs this car. He drives it every day. I wouldn't take anything away from him. But me as an automotive enthusiast, I don't see the attraction of this car. There's so many sports cars on the market. Toyota GR86, Subaru BRZ. Look, this thing gets trounced. The Subaru BRZ gets absolutely trounced by the Toyota GR86. I'll be honest with you. If I was in the market for a performance Subaru, I'm not buying a BRZ. I'm buying a WRX or a WRX STI. And I don't think I'm alone in that. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the new WRXs, the latest generation, but performance Subaru guys, we want WRXs and STIs. We don't want the BRZ for the most part. Guys, tell me if you disagree. If you have a BRZ and you love it, I want to hear all about it. And I'm sure it's a great car. Not my jam, though. I'd love to hear what you think. And they've only sold, sales are down. Look, about 3,300 units in 2024, down from over 4,000. So BRZ not exactly crushing it. The Nissan Z, listen, the legend. The legend. If I was going to buy a Japanese sports car, absolutely have to consider a Nissan Z. I love them in all generations, going all the way back. Going all the way back. That 1990, the twin turbo Z. Are you kidding me? When that car came out and had that exotic look, blew my mind. When I see those cars to this day, I want one of those cars. If you got one for sale, hit me up. Hit up your buddy CJ. I want one of those cars. The new one, listen, it looks like the previous version. Sales have improved, but they were kind of an abomination in 2023 at about 1,800 units, 2024 units about 3,200. Listen, the number 9 top selling sports car in America, the Nissan Z. People who are into the Z cars, listen, that's cult status, right? That is religion. That's up there with M3. That's up there with guys who are into WRXs and STIs. If you're a Z car guy, you're a Z car guy. I love the fact that they still make a manual. Listen, for the power output, the not so revolutionary styling, you're paying a premium for these cars. I don't know. There's a lot of options out there. I don't think that they're ever going to crush it or kill it. But this micro niche at number 9, about 3,000 units. How long will the Z car be with us, guys? I don't know. Leave me your comments. Number 10, the Toyota Supra. Boy, oh boy. This is a car that I could just never get on board with. When they announced the new Supra, and I was never a Supra guy. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I've ever been the biggest Supra nut. I appreciate each generation of the Supra and the significance of the car, and I do think they're cool. Not exactly my thing, but this generation, not for me. I think, the partnership with BMW probably killed it for a lot of pure Supra purists, JDM purists, Japanese car purists. Listen, I know for a fact, the fact that it's in partnership with BMW, while it makes every bit of sense from an automotive industry, supply chain, business relationship standpoint, it makes every bit of sense why the two partnered, Toyota and BMW. As a car guy, this hasn't exactly gone over well with most Supra purists. Now, the guys who have these cars really like them. And if you have one, leave me those comments. Let me know what your experience is. I'd love to hear more about your car. Hell, I'd love to do a quick review of your car online here. Hit me up. But I have had a real hard time sort of endearing myself. I like the rear view of these cars. I like previous generation Supras. And your buddy CJ. I love modern high-tech cars. I love classic cars. This Supra kind of doesn't surprise me that it's on the lower side of the list. Their numbers have been about flat at about 2,600 units. I don't see that spiking up. Again, I don't know anybody really talking about this car. This car was not a wild success. There's no craze or demand for this car. It's not like it's Supra mania the way it is always for Mustangs and Corvettes and 911s. The Supra, I don't know what the future of the Supra is, guys, to be honest with you. And number 11, look, going right in line with the Supra, BMW sales are up a bit on the Z4. I do like the styling of this car more than I like the Supra. If I was going to buy one of the two, I'd 100% go with the BMW. I just really dig the vibe, the styling, the image of this car. I've never driven, full transparency, I have not driven either of these two cars, the Supra or the BMW Z4. But just from an image, aesthetics, appearance, and styling standpoint, the BMW talks to me much more than the Supra does. That's just the way it is. But again, we're at the bottom of this list in this category. The sales numbers, 2,000 units when 2024 saw Toyota sell 400,000 RAV4s, okay? And 200,000 Ford Explorers and 300,000 Camrys. When we talk about selling 2,000 BMW Z4s, it's almost a rounding error. It's de minimis. It's insignificant. But nonetheless, BMW still producing very cool performance cars and very fun sports cars, such as the BMW Z4. So, guys, that's about it. I wanted to come on here and talk to you a little bit about this Road and Track article. The top selling sports cars of 2024. What do you guys think? I gave you sort of my perspective on that. Hopefully you found that fun. Who has more fun than us? Cuz nobody. This is the place to be for that Real Gearhead Talk. Your buddy CJ loves you. I'm so grateful and appreciative for each and every one of you. Leave me those comments. Give me a like and subscribe. And until I see you on the next one, peace.